Prodigious ball nights last night. Ball nights, Steph, 52 on 12 threes. Win over Memphis. Bucks, 68.9% shooting in the win over Phoenix. Amazing. But it's Nikola Jokic, 61-point triple-double where Denver couldn't get the win. Gave it away in overtime, too. Does a loss, 86, a 61-point triple-double? I'll ask around the horn. No.
Come on, Russ. Why are you fouling the three-point shooter?
Nuggets Timberwolves last night had a back-and-forth April Fool's type of night. Nearly 24 lead changes. Jokic clutch shots at the end of regulation, at the end of overtime one, pouring in points to the tune of a 61-10-10 triple-double. However, here's how it gets decided. Westbrook, final 20 seconds, he's going to love to forget. Missed free throw. He had the steal, but missed the layup. And then the SMH of all, the foul on the final shot to burgle defeat from the jaws of victory. Game one in the line by NAW. There's been 3 60-point triple-doubles now in NBA history. This is the first one to come in a loss. And the Nuggets also over whenever Jokic breaks 50. So that's one of many absurdities last night. Steph Curry, he curried 52 on 12 threes. The Bucks, they had a game where they shot 69% for the entire 48 minutes, somehow only won by 10. But that was the highest field goal percentage for a team in 28 years. So whose ball night was biggest of all? Around the horn, Frank Isola.
It was a great night for the NBA. We've seen Steph do this before. It's not like we see the Milwaukee Bucks shoot that well. I'm going to go with Nikola Jokic, the game that he had. That's the most points ever in a triple-double. Now, granted, Harden just hit it in regulation. Luka needed overtime. Jokic needed double overtime. But remember, he didn't have Jamal Murray. He didn't have Michael Porter Jr. He's missing 2 starters. He played 53 minutes for all you minutes police out there. And Courtney mentioned it before. They win the game. They have the ball up 1 when Westbrook, and with 10 seconds to go, Westbrook misses a layup. Then he commits the foul. So I'm not going to put that on Nikola Jokic. To me, this tells you why he is the best player in the world. Probably not going to win the MVP. That's for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But Nikola Jokic, that is an incredible performance last night. Shorthanded.
And still counts even in a loss. I know sometimes you guys say, he didn't win the game. That one. Cordy Cronin, around the horn to you.
I know Frank said that we see Steph Curry do this a lot. He's the greatest shooter of all time. There's no debating that. But what it meant last night and how massive of a win that was for the Golden State Warriors. They now have sole possession of 5th place in the Western Conference. They're trying to stay out of play-in territory, and they're playing like it right now because Steph is already in playoff form. Shot 8 threes in the first half, had over 30 points by the break. And to watch him do this, to watch the 3 guys that you expect to show up in those moments, whether it's Stephen Curry, and not just doing it on the offensive end, 10 rebounds, 5 steals in this game, and then Jimmy Butler. Steph and Jimmy combining for 20 of 20 from the free throw line. Draymond Green throwing in a triple-double there, too. It's really cool to watch Steph do this, but also without 2 of their role players. No GP2, no Jonathan Kuminga, and watching this team clicking on all cylinders right now down the stretch.
More impressive than a
big credit to Steph Curry for that.
Double because Steph did it without Kuminga in the lineup. Harry Lyles Jr. around the horn to you.
Yeah, Tony, when we usually have 2 massive performances like this, I am willing to have the tiebreaker be, well, which guy won his game. But like what we're talking about with the Nuggets, if you would have lost that game without the triple-double in the way that Russell Westbrook did that, cooking the layup and then fouling a 3-point shooter with 0.1 seconds left in that game, to me, I can't hold that against Nikola Jokic. I just absolutely can't. Frank mentioned it, the most points ever in a triple-double. He continues to prove that he is the best player in the NBA, one of the best big men of all time. And honestly, if LeBron or Steph had done that performance and Russ blew it for one of those guys, Russ would be catching more hell today. We're not doing this because it's Nikola Jokic. And so I have to give it to Nikola because of the game. And again, he continues to cement himself. He's not going to win the MVP, but he is the best player on the
court. Listen to you guys. I keep on hearing, he's not going to win the MVP. Come out, make a stand saying, I would vote for Nikola Jokic. I would vote over SGA. Frank, where are you voting?
I do have a vote. Can I wait until the end of the season before I decide?
Of course you can. You can also get a mute right now. Mina Kimes around the horn to you.
I'd be delighted to step up here and say I would pick Nikola Jokic, even though he probably won't win, as my colleagues have suggested. And I think last night's game was a perfect illustration of why, even in a season where Gilgeous-Alexander has been incredible and is on the best team in basketball, Nikola is the best player. Last night, he had the best game of any player. This is the best season of his career, and it has nothing to do with wins. I mean, consider what he did, putting up that historic performance with those minutes, by the way. Frank, at one point, he played over 40 straight, and they still lost. If that's not an illustration of why wins aren't the sole determinant here, I don't know what is. And by the way, to boot, he was pretty dang kind about Russ when he was asked about his mistake at the end. So he's a great teammate as well. I just think this is such a dominant performance, such a dominant season, and we need to appreciate
Frank,
that.
let me ask you. The Nuggets are over whenever he scores 50 or more. Does that mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't, especially last night. That's a win that they have to have. And, you love Russell Westbrook, his competitive fire. You want to hear him talk after the game, but I get it. He was probably sick to his stomach. One thing about Memphis, how about them making a coaching change? They hired Tomas Izalo, no relation to me. His first 3 games out of the blocks are the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Warriors. Taylor Jenkins got fired. They didn't do this guy any favors either.
You just wanted to say your name. All right, I see what you're doing there. Okay. You wanted Russ to talk last night. Why don't you just wait till the end of the season for Russ to talk? Wouldn't that be a nice time to do it? I'm not letting you off the hook with it. We'll move on. NHL last night. You know what we're talking about.
Flood that far side. Carlson steps in, looking for the deflection. Score! Yes! Alex Ovechkin, 4 tallies to hockey immortality.
Yep, 4 away from breaking, 3 away from tying the unbreakable Wayne Gretzky record. 8 regular season games left. Never mind that the Caps are going to, hopefully for them, make a long run in the playoffs. And if Ovi scores there, it wouldn't count towards the record. That's just funny. But Ovechkin's pace right now plays out perfectly that he could break Gretzky in the second to last or last game of this season. This is dramatic, isn't it? History lesson, but maybe there's a panelist on the show that remembers. Hank Aaron had roots to tie in the last game of a baseball season, 1973. Didn't get it. Had to wait a long winter, do it the following year. So, Harry Lyles, around the horn to you. Are you sensing pressure here for Ovechkin to get it done before the end of the season, or is it all glory?
There's pressure in the sense that anytime any player in any sport is up for a record, it always seems like it takes a little bit more to get there. And then finally, once it happens, that pressure is relieved and they can go back to playing like themselves. But to me, the only pressure here, I'm sure, is sort of felt by the NHL. Like, they would love to be able to dress this up. He has a clean break of the record going into the postseason, and then they make their own run, as opposed to, I don't know, we wait and do this until October when all sports are going on and it sort of gets buried in the news cycle. So I think there's pressure from that standpoint. I don't think Ovi's particularly worried about that. I do think it would help him to have a clean break, carry that momentum into the postseason, and make a run.
Times around the horn of you.
Yeah, I think it's worth sort of addressing the fact, or taking a step back to note the fact that there's not pressure is in and of itself remarkable, because he is 39 and we expect him to continue playing at this level. So it's not like, oh my God, he's got to get this done. He's going to come back next season, and if he doesn't get it done now, he will get it done then. That said, it does add a level of intrigue and excitement to the end of the season. The pace that he's on, scoring 2 goals